Sports Talk Podcast, here to give you the latest scoop of sports in the great city of Detroit and the great state of Michigan. This week, we recap the Lions' Sunday night win over the Rams, discuss what happened in week 2 of the college football season, and give our predictions for week 3. As always, we bring you the weekly Tigers update as well. I am one of 3 brothers and co-host Bill, along with me, as always, the D and E of the BDE, Dean and Eddie. Fellas, how you guys feeling this week?
You know, it's still pretty good. still good. All these weeks later, still good.
Riding high, baby.
Riding
Riding high. Feeling good.
Well, I'm sure you guys are feeling good because the Lions won on Sunday night. Let's get into this week's episode. The Lions win 26-20 at home over Los Angeles. Stafford, in his return back to Ford Field again, was 34 of 49 for 317, a touchdown and interception. Jared Goff was 18 of 28 for 217 with a touchdown interception. David Montgomery was the leader in rushing with 17 carries for 91 yards and a strong man touchdown.
Rumbling.
Kyron Williams had 18 carries for 50 yards and a touchdown. JMO had himself a career night with 5 receptions for 121 yards and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp for the Rams, 14 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Fellas, what a win. What a way to start off the NFL season. Oh, I don't know if I texted you guys this. I'm pretty sure I did. But that last drive it damn near brought a tear to my eye. It was that good. Something I don't think we've ever seen in our lifetime as Lions fans. Where
we want the ball.
A drive was just so dominant. And oh my goodness. I wish it was like that every time.
Sure. Yeah. Ideally, you get the ball and you're driving down the field and score a touchdown. I'm with you 100%.
Oh man, it was so awesome. Great win. Looking forward to seeing what they do in week 2, fellas. I know you're feeling good, but what were your takeaways?
Obviously super happy about that. Jameson having a big night was good to see, because that really takes a lot off of St. Brown, considering they were keying him they had to be keying him pretty hard because he wasn't barely involved, which I thought was strange. Him and Laporta were both pretty much non-existent for most of the game. The only thing because I thought the defense played really well overall. I know Stafford was kind of lighting him up towards once he got a rhythm going until he threw that pick. But I mean, he was getting that ball out of his hands so fast. It's like you can't really even get pressure on the guy because he's just. I mean, we saw it for a dozen years or whatever, but that's the only thing. But overall, I thought the defense played really well considering. The only thing that worries me just a little bit was just how the offense just kind of stifled there for a while at 17 points. It was reminiscent of that NFC Championship game where the offense just stalled out. We allowed the other team to come back, and then, luckily we did get the ball in OT. And seeing Montgomery run that drive was awesome. Once he was going like that, I was like, they're going to score this touchdown because dude was on fire. He was hyped. The offensive line was really giving a good push. They weren't stopping it, but it's like, why weren't we doing that more earlier in the game? And why, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I know they were trying to give him the ball quite a bit. I know they gave him the ball, the lion's share of no pun intended, but the Lions share of the carries. But I don't know. It just seemed like, I don't know if the guys were just, tired, and it's just, all of them didn't play the entire preseason's first game. But I don't know. That last drive was awesome to see. I'm glad they won. They were able to pull that out. But we'll have to wait and see what happens next week.
Yeah, no, I thought it was good too, man. Especially playing another good team and having the starters not played. I treated it in my head a lot like we had talked about previously with Michigan State kind of things, where it was good just to get that experience in. A lot of those guys hadn't played, so just to see them out there, and I thought the offensive line probably wasn't as it didn't feel as dynamic as they've been in the previous year. So maybe there was adjustments that had to happen along that front. I mean, they still played well, but
Yeah.
it seemed like there was some there where they were doing things previously that were working in the run game that weren't exactly popping off for them in at least the first half, I thought, or the third quarter. Adjustments were made. I mean, one big thing to point out is they called out the X factor in J-Mo. He really was an X factor offensively for the game. Defensively, Anzalone was a beast out there, dude. Yeah. I mean, he was. I'm like, is this guy starting doing some, do some HGH or something? Because the guy is lighting it up.
Looks like the guy from the program,
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, hey, dude, do whatever you got to do until they ban you, but keep this going because he was great. I mean, obviously Brian Branch had a nice game. He had team high 3 passes defense. I didn't look at what the Rams had, so could have been a game high, but it seemed like he was everywhere again. You love to see that. Just hoping that it wasn't a 1-year thing. Terrion Arnold had a great first game. I mean, having to cover Cooper Kupp pretty much the whole time, and doing a really nice job. Cooper Kupp's going to do stuff, dude. The guy is an all-pro type of receiver, that's just going to happen. And I thought he did a nice job. So I was excited to see it happen. And I think at the end of the day, if you look outside of the football stuff, we can finally let go of this whole Stafford thing, right? So we had it at the playoffs, we had it regular season now. Some folks clapped, some didn't, whatever. It's over, right? So it shouldn't even be a discussion moving forward.
I mean, it's over for him too. I mean,
for sure.
I saw a clip after the game where they asked him about it, and he's just like, you could just tell he's like, all right, I'm done talking about this. I've lost twice in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. Go cry to Kelly.
Last 2 games he's played.
Take the Lions off of your girls' backs. We don't want you. Tell your kids to stay home because they don't belong in Lions country. They're not part of this pride.
No, you left us.
Yeah, exactly. You wanted to leave.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. Like, clap him up. Like we talked about before. Clap him up. Thank you. Like, you really did a good job when you were here. Truly, as good as we've seen. But now it's over. You were here twice. It's over.
And I do remember texting you guys. This was when him and Goff were. I mean, they even brought it up. I ended up watching the last drive in overtime again the next day, and because I mean, you get caught up in the moment.
Sure,
you get and just to watch really more than just the drive. It was more like I wanted to see how big of a push the O-line was getting. Those types of things. But they did bring it up in the broadcast too when Goff and Stafford were out at the 50-yard line. It's just those two, you know what I mean? And it's just crazy. It's you don't really see that very often. And that was kind of a cool moment too. So great win. It's nice to not lose to Stafford.
For sure.
For
sure, dude.
And Jonah Jackson. Let's not forget he was over there too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, playing a little center too, huh?
Yeah. Didn't know he had that in the bag.
Yeah, he never showed that. Especially when Ragnar was hurt. Where were you, bro?
We could have used him. Evan Brown wasn't bad when he was there, though.
Well, I guess they're like, all right, we'll give you a big contract, but you might have to play center sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Ragnow, that last drive, if I don't know if you guys are able to ever watch it again, he completely dominated that drive. He looked like an all-pro. I mean, so did Sewell, and I mean that right side of the line's really good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. From Ragnow, Zeitler, Sewell.
Yeah,
that's tough, dude.
Yeah.
That's real tough. Yeah.
I mean, really the whole line, but that right side, man. Huh. Let's give our little predictions for week 2. Lions play the Bucks. Bucks, I believe, won last week.
Yeah, did.
And another playoff.
Gosh, I already forgot who they played.
I can look it up while
it was like 37-20. New quarterback. Oh, Commanders.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So, what are you guys' predictions for this weekend? X factors. Dean,
I'm never not gonna pick the Lions to win because I want them to win. Even when I did like a pick'em league, I literally picked them every single week when they were bad, knowing they weren't going to win. So obviously, I'm going to pick the Lions to win, but that's going to be a tough game for them because I mean, obviously, the Bucks have great wide receivers. Baker's not looking pretty good right now. At least they got an okay running game. Their defense is all right. In some ways, you could say they're better than the Rams, and they're probably looking for some type of revenge or redemption that from that loss last year, considering they were a game away from the NFC Championship game. So I think it's going to be a real tight battle. I would probably go with 24-21, something like that.
Yeah,
something close.
I mean, yeah, they're a good team. I mean, for sure. We're running through the playoffs from last year right now.
Yeah.
And everybody usually gets not usually, but a lot of times gets a little bit better. I mean, Baker looks more comfortable. I think he had 4 touchdown passes last week. And I mean, the defensive backfield's going to have to step it up again. I mean, you highlighted it, Dean. I mean, you're looking over at Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I mean, that Cade, I don't think he only had a catch or 2 last week, but he's good enough to make a play. And Rashad White, who's the running back, also is probably catches the 3rd, 4th most passes on the team as well. So the linebackers have also got to step it up in coverage, or whoever that nickel person is if they have running back responsibility. It's just one of those things where you have to see what happens. I mean, defense has got to play good again. I don't know much about Tampa's D, but I mean, they gave up 20 to Washington, who's okay. They're breaking in a new quarterback. I mean, the kid seems pretty dynamic. Maybe not as dynamic as Goff, but
did that 5-yard run.
One thing I thought about Goff was that one pick that he did throw was pretty ugly. In a bad situation. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see what happens there. I mean, yeah, I feel good about the Lions winning. It's at home, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yep, it's at home. I mean, 24-21 sounds good. I think Bill was closest last week when I remember the scores. You guys were both pretty close. I was the furthest away.
I said 28-21.
Yeah, you were 7. I think Bill might have been right around somewhere close. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think I said 26-20.
Just nailed it. I mean, no big deal. I'll take 24-17. Lions.
That's a good one.
They should win by a touch. I think they should win by a touchdown. I think the Rams are better than the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit it all on the head. Baker looks
Sure
more
did.
comfortable this year. I think they win by 10. I think it's going to be, we'll say, 27-17. You know, we didn't really talk about him, but Jake Bates, huh?
I was gonna say after you said that.
Yeah.
Comes
Happy for
in,
him.
a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
nails it.
Yeah. It was good to see him make those shorter kicks because that is one of the things they were saying that he was having issues with was the shorter kicks. It's like, dude can nail him from 60 all day. Shanks a 30-yarder.
Dude,
Like, come on.
I hate to jump the gun, right, and jinx the kid, but had the Lions found like a Janikowski? You know what I mean? Like just a big boot, but also really good. Like, did we just kind of luck into that because he ended up playing for the Michigan Panthers? You know, I mean
kind of.
That was my first thought was, well, we might actually have our next Jason Hansen.
That's what we've been hoping.
Be around, yeah. They're
Jason Hansen plus 10 yards.
Yeah, but I just meant, you know, a great, you know, longevity was. I mean,
I'll take Bates over
lucky.
Hansen right now.
Shut your mouth.
Whoa.
At the ages they're at? Come on.
Oh,
you guys really going to take Jason Hansen right now?
I'll take Jason Hansen today. He doesn't have that much wear and tear on his body.
Hansen
he can still hit a 40-yarder. He can still hit a 40-yarder, baby. I guarantee it.
But I mean, if you think about it, just Hansen, before him, Arnold, or I mean Eddie Murray. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like Arnold.
That was their punter. Prater.
I mean, Prater was solid, real solid.
He's still kicking. So, yeah, 27-17. Quickly, X factors go.
The offense, the entire offense.
Oh, X factors for the game.
Yeah, the entire offense. They need. I don't want to
all
see
the starters.
Again. I don't want to see them stifle again. And they need to keep the pressure down and just at least get a field goal or something, not just sit at 17 or whatever it is and let them come back if they're up by that much. So Goff, you can just go with Goff. If you want me to pick a person.
I mean, Goff is great. If I had to choose one, that's tough. I'll go just one. I'll go Brian Branch. If I had to choose two, it'd actually be Arnold and Davis, right? So if I go one guy in that whole thing, Brian Branch has got to make the plays,
right?
You know, around the field. So I'll go Brian Branch. He could have been a great pick for the X Factor last week because he did a great job, as we're already accustomed to. I mean, what a stud.
Yeah.
You know, in one season and a game, the kid's a freaking stud. So, but yeah, I'll go Branch if I got to pick a guy.
I think I'm gonna go with Aiden. I mean, he played a good game. He was getting held. I mean, the same things as last season, but
that's why they needed to make a play for somebody else, man. Another edge. Anyway, sorry.
Davenport played pretty good.
I was going to say Davenport didn't play that bad.
He didn't play bad, but not enough to not have that happen to Aiden Hutchinson every time he rushes the quarterback.
Right. But I think if he gets pressure, if he, you know, I don't know if Tampa's going to look at that game film and try to get Baker to throw, you know, like Safford did, quick releases. If they don't and Aiden can get there, defense should have a pretty good day. So that'll be my X factor, and that'll be Sunday at 1:00. So a team. Let's head to another team in Michigan that won this week. The Spartans of East Lansing. They pull off a road victory against Maryland, 27-24 on a Jonathan Kim 37-yard field goal as time expired. Aiden Childs, 24 of 39, 363. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Nathan Carter, 11 carries, 59 yards. Nick Marsh, 8 catches, 194, and a touchdown. Fellas, I didn't get to watch the game. I kept up on it. Mainly because I had a bet where I took Maryland and I didn't want to take Maryland. I was just taking large favorites. I must have just which I'm okay with not winning out. The one that really pissed me off was Notre Dame, but regardless,
for sure,
that cost me $500. So
great win.
In winnings.
Yeah, in winnings.
Man,
Kate doesn't watch this episode. Good win for the boys in green. Takeaways from the game.
I think the biggest takeaway for me was just you can tell that they put in some sort of extra work during the week, and the chemistry between Childs and all the receivers was just 100 times better. He found his guy that he's probably going to target a lot this year in Marsh. It was good to see. He throws a nice ball when it's on point. So I am happy to see that they won. That was honestly unexpected. I didn't think he'd put up those numbers, given he did throw 3 picks as well. Once he got it going later on in the game, that's when it really started to show that things might be turning around a little bit for him in the offense. So it was good to see. They got who they got Prairie View this week. They got a big test this week coming up, and we'll see.
A&M,
baby. That's A&M. So I was happy with everything overall. I didn't even expect them to win that game, but just for them to be in it and then to be able to pull it off in the end was awesome to see.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I'm with you. I mean, for sure. After watching the game against FAU, it was hard to feel like they had what it took to beat Maryland. But again, as we talked about, it was a warm-up game. I mean, you got to make adjustments. They clearly made some adjustments, and I'm sure Maryland probably underestimated them as well, which really is a factor as far as just playing a game and your mental psyche as far as trying to be ready for another team. If you underestimate somebody, they're going to get some shots. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I would say in general, that's just a win they really needed. Just for the program, just to say, okay, yeah, we struggled against FAU, but we can beat a team that looked good in week 1 in the Big Ten on the road. It feels good. Childs put up big numbers. Also big numbers negatively. He's only 18 years old.
He's only 18.
But you love to see it. I had wondered, watching week 1, because Marsh had like 1, maybe 2 catches in week 1. And I was like, man, he does a really nice job just in the 1 or 2 catches you saw him make.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering why he's not going to that. And then you see it this week and you're like, okay, that's what people were hoping for. Between those two, we'll see. It's hard to say. Hopefully they can get out there against Prairie View, run some stuff that feels good, and just walk away with a nice win. It doesn't have to be a huge blowout. Just work on things, right? Get a lead and work on stuff. The D was great against the run. They played the run really nice. Very average against the pass. And that's being generous, I think. And absolutely no pressure. Other than the 1 sack, which was kind of a late sack from Bogle, but you just got to work on getting more pressure. That was an issue last year. That's why the secondary struggled last year. It seems like it's going to be a lot of an issue this year. And even against FAU, it was kind of an issue. So we'll see what it looks like moving forward. I feel good about them playing this week.
Big game.
We'll see.
Crazier things have happened.
But yeah, no, I liked what I saw in general. The drop off when they had the lead concerns you, obviously. but played what you think is an okay team or okay to good, and came out with a win on the road. So, I mean, it's hard to be disappointed.
Definitely.
MSU football back.
It's still a rebuild.
So I saw that quite a bit on X.
A win over Maryland does not make Michigan State.
I'm just repeating what I
What
read.
what Twitter or X accounts were those? Are those the satire MSU accounts?
No,
because they will say that.
This was just people.
Bleeding green and white, 97 or something.
I saw one
you
person
watch
like,
it,
MSU football is so back.
You watch it, and I mean, we're back, baby. No, I mean, it's 2 games.
Yeah,
they got a good win on the road.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean anything is anything because bad teams have beaten good teams on the road before, and it meant nothing in the long run. So, if you're back, let's see 8 wins this year. That's, I guess,
quarter of the way there.
It's on. I think they're on the right track, but to say they're back after a win over Maryland it's a bit excessive.
Well, talking about it preseason, it was like, I don't know, they got to win one of those, Maryland or Boston College. Mm-hmm. Okay, so one of those are down. Boston College has looked pretty good so far.
I was gonna say if they can beat Boston College, I'd be willing to say they're somewhat back. I wouldn't say they're fully back.
Say they're definitely on the right track.
100%.
If they beat Boston College, and then see what it looks like against OSU the week after. So I'm not going to say fully back, even if they win that game.
Speaking of, Speaking of OSU, they beat Western Michigan 56-0. Not much in the way of offense for Western. Hayden Wolf had 71 yards on 15 attempts. Keyshawn King had 8 carries for 22 yards. Eastern also lost 30-9 to Washington. At Washington, Cole Snyder 129 yards on 16 completions and 27 attempts. 8 carries, 33 yards for Dante McMillan. And Griffin had 2 catches for 35 yards.
Hey, but the Eagles were up by 3 at the end of the first. So they were on. They were ready to go.
And then we're down 21-6.
Then a 21-point second quarter by Washington.
They're hyped for that first quarter, though,
Central.
Oh, we can move on.
Yeah, Central lost 52-16 to Florida International University. Joey Labus. I hope I said that right. Labus.
It doesn't matter if you say it right.
20-39.
5 picks.
Yeah,
151 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Miles Bailey, 8 carries, 54 yards. Chris Parker, 3 receptions, 55 yards, 1 touchdown.
5.7 QBR. That's brutal.
Gross.
Yeah.
So
Tyler Jefferson, are you ready?
He doesn't have the excuse of Western of being like, we played one of the best teams in the country. You're like, no, you played FIU.
Hey, you don't know about FIU, bro. They're one of the best teams in the country.
Maybe.
All right. Well, let's move on to week 2 predictions here, or week 3 predictions.
You're skipping over your boys?
I don't know what you're talking about. Week 3 predictions.
That's fine.
No, it's fine. We need to talk about this. 31-12. Michigan loses at home in a game where deep down I thought this might have been coming. We kind of talked about it, and it's tough. It's tough to pick again. Just like the Lions, I'm probably never going to pick Michigan to lose. But there was that feeling, and I did say it to people that they would need to keep up with Texas in order to win. I didn't think they would be able to do it. They don't have the quarterback to do it. They don't have the receivers to do it. Donovan Edwards, another. I mean, and it's not all his fault. It's the offensive line. They're just not as good as they were. And Texas is good. I mean, not taking anything away from them. I mean, they're a good team. Davis Warren was 22 of 33 for 204 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Donovan Edwards, 8 carries, 41 yards. Colson Loveland, the team's only receiver, it seems like, has had 8 receptions for 70 yards. The other receiver, Samaj Morgan. I mean, those are the only 2. Quinn Ewers looked great. And that's another thing. The secondary, I
mean, they have weapons all over the field. It's like what can you really do against a team like that when you're that bad as a Michigan team, you know? I'm just kidding. I mean, Texas is no Maryland, but they're pretty close.
They're not good. I mean, it just
they're
the facts
good.
are the facts.
No,
Facts are the facts.
They're not great.
No, and they've got a lot of problems. Davis Warren is not the answer at this point. They might as well start putting Jaden Davis out there. Seriously, Orgy.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Orgy is not.
He's a runner. He's not.
He's a runner. Exactly.
And he's jacked.
Or just huge. Put Orgy out there and just let him play and let him get in a rhythm and see what he can do. Because putting him in there for one play here, I mean, they're keying in on him running anyway. They don't ever have him pass the ball regardless. So,
no, he's thrown a touchdown pass on a third of his throws.
Yep. So it's still. This is a good week for them to kind of try to figure things out and just try to get ready to try to win the Big Ten. I mean, if they can't pass the ball, they're already not running the ball. So it could go downhill very quickly.
Did Edwards just get like a big chunk play and that's where most of his yards came from? Because 8 carries just doesn't seem like enough carries for him. If he's supposed to be your number 1 guy, I feel like he should have more touches than 8 touches. I didn't really watch the game, so
I watched it. I was on the golf course. It's the offensive line. It's just, I don't think he had any big chunk plays. I think it was just
because 8 carries, 41 yards isn't terrible by any means.
It's 5 yards a carry.
It's pretty solid.
They were. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, Davis Warren was at 33 attempts at passes.
Right. That's why it's like if you're not going anywhere and you got Warren out there throwing the ball 33 times, why don't you give a couple of those to old Donovan Edwards? I know he's not like the most during like regular season, he's not the most dynamic back, but I mean, he's supposed to be your best player on offense. So you might as well just friggin' feed the dude the rock. He's on the friggin' game. Just give the dude the rock. You know what I mean? That's what the fans really want to see.
Yeah. I mean, I would, I don't know. Just in general, I mean, I thought the only scary part for Michigan fans and those that care is that the coaches of the team are telling you that Davis Warren is our best option.
Right.
And he's a great story, but he's not going, you might as well throw Nick Sheridan back in there, man. I mean, it's just not happening. So I agreed with you 100%, Bill. Throw Jaden Davis in there this weekend, or even Jaden Denegal, and just see if they can work some offense. See what the passes are looking. Yeah, Davis Warren might look good this weekend, against Arkansas State.
But he's not going to
it's
look
not
good
gonna
against
matter.
anybody else.
No, exactly. So get the other guys in there.
He didn't look good against Fresno State.
I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think at least 90% of Michigan fans agree with you. I would assume.
And it's
So,
not.
It's time to move on. I mean, feel bad. Like, okay, it's a great, but you want to win.
Yeah,
This
you're
guy
the defending national champion.
Cannot be your best. If you're gonna go out there and send him out there every week and tell all the people that support that team that he is your best option, that is going to be a struggle.
Honestly,
yeah.
Honestly, it may not even matter. I mean, the secondary is so bad that I thought. I mean, Makari Page has not played well at all. And he's supposed to be one of the leaders on the defense. And it's just,
but how the defense is out there a lot right now.
True. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you get a couple more first downs. Things are working. I mean, just the energy being up is going to make a difference for those guys, and less time on the field. I don't know what the time of possession was for that game. I'm just saying, Texas had the ball more.
Right.
You don't have to look at the numbers to probably know that. And if they didn't, that's really bad too.
It's even worse.
But
it was 31-20, 31 minutes, 20 seconds for Texas, 28 minutes, 40 seconds for Michigan.
Okay.
It's not a crazy time difference, but and TOP is TOP, though.
I mean, another 3 minutes. It's hard to say. And Texas is really good. So
yeah,
you give them even, another 3 minutes.
It's at least a couple of touchdowns, I'd say.
It's just more time. More time with the ball that you don't want them to have.
It's at least a 31-12 victory.
I mean, 3 minutes in a college football game, a lot can happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's my team in South Alabama. A lot can happen in 3 minutes. Week 3 predictions. The only line I couldn't get was Prairie View A&M at MSU. So we'll do that first. I think it's because they're FCS. We'll just go 20 points. MSU 20-point favorite. Probably be more than that, but who you got?
I'm going to take them to cover. Yeah.
Yeah. Take
Michigan State. Yeah. I'll take the 20.
Okay. Is that both of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to put the bar at 20.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Bethune-Cookman at Western. I found this line on Dimers. I don't know if it's right or not. Western favored by 32.5. Who you got?
I mean, Western to win, but I think Bethune-Cookman's going to cover that. I think they'll cover it.
It's rare to hear that phrase said.
I think they're going to sneak in.
I hate Western, but I'll take them to take it and cover. Bethune-Cookman has scored 5 total points in 2 weeks.
I know.
they scored 3.
I literally have it pulled up in front of me. They're averaging 2.5 points a game right now.
That would be, yes, half of 5 for sure. I looked at it earlier. I'm like, dude, these guys. They can't score.
Feels like a game where they will score.
Probably.
Jacksonville State at Eastern Michigan -2. Eastern's is 2-point favorite. Over under is 52. I'm gonna say Eastern.
Yeah. Eastern to
same.
cover for sure. Yeah. Well, maybe not for sure. But
it's gonna be a tough. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a tight game, but I think you win by more than 2 in general. So
yeah, most occasions. Yeah. Plus a block extra point.
I think I'm going to take the under,
Sure.
actually.
The under's probably
take the under.
Get that too.
Okay. CMU at Illinois. You're going over?
No, they are.
Oh.
I'm not going to bet it.
CMU at Illinois. Illinois is an 18.5 point favorite, over under 49.5.
Well, we just saw what happened against a legitimate FIU team. Illinois might be maybe a touch, but they might be on the same level, same par level. But yeah, I'm going to take Illinois to cover. Unfortunately, to cover.
It says 49. Yeah, I'll take the under on that.
49.5.
Yeah. I'll take
so the points was 18, right?
18.5.
Yeah.
CMU's coming to play.
I hope
Fire up, Chips, baby.
Fire up.
I'll take the over.
Labus is going to be jacked to be playing another Big Ten game. Okay. After leaving Iowa, 5 picks. He thought he just had those guys on, and he just didn't. So
he
this
thought
week,
he had their number.
He did. Luke's is going to fire it up this week too, a little more than last week. It's going to be a bloodbath.
It's going to be electric.
Arkansas State at Michigan. Michigan 23.5 point favorite, over under 47.5.
Oh, give me the over in Michigan.
I'm taking the under.
I was going to go
over and Michigan.
I just think this is one of those games that Donovan Edwards gets a couple touchdowns.
What's the spread?
Minus 23.5.
Minus 23.5. I'll take Michigan to cover it.
Okay. All right.
Warren's gonna go off.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
All right. Well, let's get into the weekly Tigers update. The weekly Tigers update is brought to you by Adobo Boy. Adobo Boy is the official sponsor of the BDE Sports Talk podcast. As you know, Dean, Eddie, and myself, we are proud Filipino Americans, and we love a delicious Filipino meal. And Adobo Boy delivers just that with their amazing food and vibes that are unmatched in the food industry. Not only do they have delicious food, they also go against the grain of a traditional restaurant and tinker with their menu to bring you an amazing variety of Filipino cuisine. Their menu rotates weekly, so there's always a reason to come back to try more authentic Filipino food. One dish you can always count on when they have it. This week they did not. They had chicken adobo, but usually it's Red's pork adobo. Dean, you know what to do.
Let me get ready for it. It's tender pork braised in soy sauce and vinegar on a bed of rice with Jackie's achara or a papaya salad, a cucumber, and a fried egg. It is fantastic. I like to eat everything separately, as they suggest. Actually, you mix the adobo and the rice, the pork and the rice. That's the key. Or you can mix everything up like Bill and Ed both do. It's fantastic either way. You should buy 2 to try it for yourself.
Buy 3.
Buy 6.
Buy 1 for a friend.
And we'll tell you why.
So if you're into trying new and different foods, or just want some amazing adobo and vibes, stop in and say hi to owners Ace, Chef Jackie, and Son Red, who are amazing people who genuinely care about your experience. Eddie, give the people what they want.
I give them what they want. You want me to pop this top off right now? When it comes to Adobo Boy, man, it's the ultimate experience. You show up, man, you walk in, you're gonna notice the ambiance, you're gonna feel comfortable. As soon as you get in there, you're gonna get the smells, the aroma that's just gonna waft up into your nostrils. You're gonna enjoy those. You're gonna go up to the register, you're gonna order the amazing food, and then you're gonna get 5% off just by saying BDE Sports Talk Podcast. 5% off just saying BD Sports Talk Podcast at the register. You get to take that amazing food, bring it back, eat it. It's going to be a great time. So you walk in, it's going to be awesome. You're going to go up to the register. You're going to get 5% off one more time just by saying BD Sports Talk Podcast. 5% off just for saying it. Get your food, have a great time, go home, feel very happy. Can't beat it.
No, you cannot. And if you want that 5% off, you want that delicious adobo, you want those amazing vibes, Adobo Boy is open Tuesday to Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch and 5 to 7:30 for dinner. Saturday, same schedule, except that dinner is open until 8:30 p.m., but you better get there earlier than 8 because that food will probably be sold out. It is that darn good. Adobo Boy is located at 3740 28th Street Southeast in Kentwood, Michigan, inside the Amazing Myanmar restaurant. Amazing Myanmar restaurant over to your right, Brunch and Rice to your left, Adobo Boy in the middle. You got 3 restaurants to try, but you better get that adobo. Get there, get fed, get happy. It is always better at the Adobo Boy. Fellas, with a 7-4 win tonight, the Tigers are 2.5 back of the wild card. Hey, Mr. Drunk Announcer. Eddie. You counted the fellas out.
Hey, man. They're not in yet.
They're not. 2.5 back, trying to silence the haters on this show. After the show last week.
Yeah, that's their goal.
Parker Meadows hit a grand slam to beat the Padres to take, 2 of 3. They took 2 of 3 in their last trip to the Oakland Coliseum. 1 at home on Tuesday, 11-0. 1 tonight, 7-4. Now with 16 games to go, they have 2 series against Baltimore, a series against Kansas City, who is right now tied with the Yankees in the middle of the 7th, while also finishing the season with a favorable series against Tampa and the White Sox.
Tampa's still fighting.
Tampa's still fighting, but it is favorable compared to,
Baltimore and KC.
Baltimore is not going to be great.
Yeah. 2 series against Baltimore.
2 series.
2 series. Yep. Dean, I'll talk to you. You look like someone who's a Tiger supporter.
I'm reasonable. I said crazier things have happened, and I got shit on too by our other co-hosts.
Hey man, it hasn't happened.
It has not happened.
You guys are counting your chickens.
No, we're not.
It sounds like it. It sounds like you guys are trying to jinx these Tigres.
They are going against, when this comes out, they will have already played that series, but they are going against a not great Rockies pitching staff. So
the Rockies
I expect them to, they've already already won the series. But that Baltimore Royal sandwich that they got going the next few series here, that's going to be a true test. They have to pull out at least 2 of those series and then have to play pretty well, and then have to beat the Rays and the White Sox at the end, which honestly, that seems like something like a setup, like where they would win these next 3 series and then they just get swept by the White Sox. Or
Bill, you remember that 1 year where they had to play that play-in game.
Yeah,
they had games at the end of the season against, I think, the Royals when they sucked, and we lost.
I think that year they had like a 8-game lead.
Yeah, it was stupid. Anyway, sorry, Dean.
No, not a big deal. But yeah, no, we'll see, man. At least they're keeping it interesting here towards the end of the season when, a lot of us have lost hope in what could be, but Javi's not playing. The pitching staff is really good still. And, these young guys are stepping up and they're becoming players that, we want them to be, and who they weren't at the beginning of the season when they were in that rough stretch there, and they're becoming that. Will now it'll come down if they can keep it going into next year, or whether maybe they do make the wild card. We'll see what happens, but it is nice to see that these guys are coming together here at the end of the season. It looks like they're having fun too. And I think that might play a big role in it, is that they're actually having a good time when they're out there. So we'll see. I mean, these guys all play together. I mean, most of these guys played together in Toledo. Let's hope they can keep it going, and maybe we'll get a little Tiger playoff berth. That'd be nice.
I mean, yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean,
Javi
it's
will
been
be
fun to
rested.
see. What's that?
Javi comes off the IR or whatever.
No.
They're like, all right, we're playoff time. It's playoff Javi, baby.
With the win tonight, Javi hasn't played since August 22nd. They are with the win tonight. They're 13-5 since he's been out.
That makes sense.
Yeah, of course, dude. I
mean,
it builds on my frustration that they're 2.5 out when they should be like 2.5 up. Just on things that didn't happen when they should have happened. Before the season, getting a bat, at least a quarter of the way through the season, be like, okay, everybody knows that Javi still sucks. Let's sit him. Like that's the stuff that just frustrates me. It's a team that's playing good enough to be in the playoff, and they might get screwed because of what didn't happen for them before. And then we'll see what it looks like moving into next year. I mean, dude, it'd be super cool to see them make it. It's so hard. Like we've said already, 2 Baltimore series. Baltimore's trying to win their division still. Like they're not set on being like the top wild card. They're tied, or they were I don't know what happened today, but they were a half a game under the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going to keep pushing. The Royals are trying to cement themselves where they're at. And the Rays are, by the time we play the Rays, maybe they're out, but they might still be pushing. So it is a tough road. The Tigers got at least they have the pitch. I mean, Kiter Montero had that shutout. I mean, who would have? I didn't see that coming. I'll tell you that. No, granted, it was the A's or whatever, but still did it, dude. I mean, that is tough. That is tough to do. So I'm excited for these young guys. We'll see what happens. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
It's Javi's time.
Yeah.
Bring him back. Bring him back.
Gary Carpenter was 4 for 4 tonight with a double and a triple.
Oh, I mean,
that's been big too.
Sweeney playing a lot of short. He's been doing a good job
tonight.
And I heard I was listening to the radio today, and I heard Benetti. He was getting interviewed by, I think it was Huge or whatever. And he was saying he's like, one of the main reasons he even came to Detroit was the development in their young guys coming up through the minor leagues. And he said that was something that he was excited about and something that he had heard around the league. So I don't know, maybe there's something to that. Maybe he's just hyping up the younger guys. You know what I'm saying?
But then he is a company shill, man. He does a good job on TV, but he's also like, when they were doing really bad, he was also like talking hype on Scott Harris.
Right.
So like, I take what he says with a grain of salt. It's easy for him to say that right now.
Yeah, of course.
To Huge.
Oh, this was 3 months ago.
No, was it?
No, it wasn't.
I'll be like, okay.
This was literally today. this morning.
I mean, that sounds right. I like Benetti as an announcer. I think he does an awesome job. But he's also he did some interviews when they were really low with like Harris and some other folks, and it was like, I know he works for them, so he can't go like full on whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, you can ask why. Like, at that time, they weren't bringing up the guy we're talking about bringing up, and we were losing, and it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, but now I can't really fully invest in everything you say because I know you're just kind of towing the company line at that point. So
right.
I like him. I do. I'm so negative, about these things. But I don't know. To me, that's just being honest too. That's what I've seen, and I can only take what he says with a grain of salt and whatever. Like, I think he does a great job on TV. I want the Tigers to win. I don't think they're going to make the playoff. I still want them to win and make it.
Yeah, of
Just
course.
because I say it doesn't mean I don't want that to happen. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Got that money ball going right now. As long as we keep the salary cap low next year, we should get it. We should win.
That's the only thing that scares me. Is that Chris Ilitch is going to be like, see, we almost made it with this salary.
Right.
Just
they do
it
need
again.
to get. They do need to get. I feel like they do need to get at least one, like maybe not elite, but very, very good bat in that lineup. Just one. It doesn't even have to be
bat.
Yes. That's all it would need, and I think they would be a real contender.
Like I said, with one, they'd probably be 2.5 up instead of 2.5 down.
Yeah, for sure.
With all the 1-run games, especially early in the year. But who knows?
Speaking of Benetti, sorry I lost my mic for a second.
You're all good.
I was listening. I was watching the game, and Kirk and him were in the booth tonight, and I don't think they like each other.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kirk hates him.
I've said this before.
Yeah, I thought it's been brought up.
Yeah, well, it looked a little it looked like they went after each other tonight a little bit. And then the next half inning, Dan Petrie was in the middle.
Really?
Yeah, and they showed a shot in the booth, and Kirk looked a little upset. So now Petrie's back with Mickey York right now. So
dang, I think Gibson would probably mess him up. I think he probably messed Benetti up, even at his age.
Should.
Yeah,
Gibby's got some stuff,
Yeah, he does. He's still got a good baseball mind, though. I mean, that doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A beautiful mind.
Yep. So, as we discussed this week, after they get done with the Rockies, they are home for 3 against Baltimore. And then they go to Kansas City for 3. And then Baltimore again in Baltimore. So they do get to finish at home. Looks like the final 6 games of the year. So we will revisit this next week. As of right now, 2.5 back for the Tigers. And with that, we will end on a happy note. Meaningful baseball in September, Ed.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is meaningful
in September. Yeah. It is. I mean, 2 months ago, we were like, the season's done.
Well, yeah, it was pretty bleak.
Done. Yeah, it was pretty bleak. Yeah, it looked done.
Yeah. But they never gave up.
A combo of them playing pretty good and other teams playing pretty bad. I mean,
yeah, that's how it has to go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what if, barring a complete meltdown, they'll have won more games this year than they did last year? Will they win 76 or 78 last year? Something like that.
Something like that.
So
it'll be close.
But I agree that they could use a big bat in the offseason. So, all right, let's get out of here. Great episode. Good luck to the Lions this weekend. Michigan, Michigan State, CMU, Eastern, Western.
Yeah, Western doesn't need it. They're fine.
So hit that like button if you liked this week's episode. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you know when our episodes come out. Comment, let us know what your thoughts are on the Lions, Tigers, Michigan, Michigan State, heck, Eastern, Central, Western. Let us know. Are we wrong on Joey Labas? No.
Rough game.
Are we wrong with Warren Davis? Davis Warren, sorry. I can't even get the guy's name right. Don't care about him that much. Is Donovan Edwards getting screwed? Michigan State football, are they back? Who knows? Let us know. Have a great week. For Dean and Eddie, I'm Bill. We'll see you next time on the BD Sports Talk podcast.
Who won the presidential debate?
Sports Talk.